Hey everyone, welcome back to another build video. My name is Hexers, and today we'll be covering a blast build for the Bazelhawk Rookslayer. Now, I've actually found this build to be quite effective and possibly one of the better dual blades currently out there. But let's go ahead and get into the build. Now, for the weapon, we have it augmented with affinity to counter the negative 10% base affinity. Next, we have the Zora Headgear Beta, Zora Hide Beta, Kaiser Van Braces Beta, Dante's Leather Boots Beta, as well as a Master 3 charm. Now, after some jewel socketing, the skills we'll have are the Zora set, which allows additional status effect when landing critical hits. This is extremely hard to work into the build, but overall a very well worth investment for this weapon. Next, we have Critical Eye 7 for the additional 30% affinity, very important for both status application as well as the damage increase. Next, we have Weakness Exploit 3 for an additional 50% affinity to weak points. Blast Attack 2. Now, I opted to lose the 10 base blast for the additional 5% affinity. This works more in our favor for both the status buildup as well as the overall damage increase. But you could swap the Zora headgear for the alpha and get 6 critical eye and 3 blast if you really wanted the extra 10 base. Next, we have Critical Boost 2, which will increase our critical hits from 25% to 35% extra damage, which synergizes very well with the crit-oriented build. Next, we have Handicraft 1. This is actually all we need to get us into white sharpness. Then we have Fortify. This is more of a byproduct of the set, but if you end up dying, you do get a 10% damage increase, so not a totally useless skill for some players. And then finally, we have Protective Polish for the 1 minute of white sharpness. This is absolutely huge for this build since it now allows us to stay at a minimal amount of handicraft and still push out some very nice damage and status. But let's go ahead and take a look at the jewels we socketed to achieve these stats. Alright, so we have Expert Jewels in the dual blades, helmet, and legs for a total of 4. Critical Jewels in the chest and gloves, and a Sharp Jewel in the waist. But let's go ahead and see how this build fares against Kushala Daora. Alright, just to start, we're going to go ahead and put a blast counter up at the top right corner here. Just to see how many times we can get this thing to proc off. Now, ultimately, I am not very efficient with dual blades, so I'm not going to be able to stay on the weak points as a better player would, which is kind of important for this setup. Nonetheless, I feel like I should give it a try here. Let's go ahead and get started by sharpening. Alright, that may have been hard to see, but there was a secondary explosion. Oh, and there's another one. Alright, so we're already looking at 5 explosions in the first 30 seconds of the fight. Now, since the flash pod nerf, I'm going to try not to use as many flash pods. I really need to save them to keep Kushala from running. Let's see if we can knock him out of the air here. Oh, there we go. Alright, one thing I did forget to mention is the Apothecary Mantle. The reason this is so important is because status is applied only every third hit. Now, when you equip the Apothecary Mantle, it is applied on every hit, effectively tripling the amount of status buildup that you have while it is equipped. The reason this is so important is because later on, as the fight progresses, the status buildup is much higher. So the more times you proc it, the higher resistance it has before the next one can go off. Alright, so 14 procs. Let's go ahead and take a look at the time here. 5 minutes, 27 seconds. Now, that comes out to, looks like 1,680 damage. Now, if you can imagine, a player who's a little better at dual blades than I am, they're going to get upwards of 17 to 18 procs off on this. With all that being said, I want to thank you all for taking the time to watch my video. If you did enjoy the content, please like and subscribe. Also, if you would like to see a particular weapon, feel free to leave a request in the comments below. And as always, happy hunting!